Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com, for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Michael Gloukhov. Now we're going to be discussing his amazing memoir, Sofia-Brussels-Washington. From serfdom to freedom to self-accomplishment, finding the American dream. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it is a whole host of other places. Check out his personal site to gather it all. That's Sophia-Brussels-Washington.com. There, you're going to gather more information on him, on the book, hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. Man, trust me when I tell you, I meant it when I said it. It is a one-stop shop for it all. Again, Sophia-Brussels-Washington.com. And I quickly want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Michael was brought to us by one of the best publishing firms in the business, City of Books. So for my writers out there listening in, if you have gone through your process and now you need some assistance moving that masterpiece, head on over to cityofbooks.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, people, it is an absolute pleasure to have Michael here on the line. As I mentioned, man, this is a memoir, so we are going to be following Michael down memory lane as we cover his incredible life story. From surviving World War II bombings in Sofia to outmaneuvering communist oppression. Listen, Michael has led a life that reads like a thriller, except it's all true, okay? There is nothing fictional here about his memoir. This isn't just a journey from serfdom to freedom. It is a masterclass in defiance, reinvention, and the true cost of the American dream. And this is something I'm so looking forward to, especially when we discuss the concept of that American dream. Because myself, like I know so many of you listening in, come from a family that migrated to this country in search of that American dream. And with obstacles, with all of the adversity that we faced, accomplishing it seems like it's more difficult than ever before. Now, we're going to go back in the past to learn some things about our present and hopefully prepare for our future. This book is going to offer so much wisdom. Sit back and strap in. Michael, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you, Benji. I'm doing well, and I feel very honored to be on your show.
Michael, you're too kind, man. Listen, the honor is all ours. I think what you've done, not only by writing this book, but also just by your life story, man. Remarkably impressive, but so much to be gained. So we are thoroughly looking forward to this. I want to start off at that foundation. I want to learn more about your background, but because this is a memoir, man, we're going to be discussing it already with the book. So let's jump right in. Sophia-Brussels-Washington. Tell us more about your book.
My book is not a typical book of a writer, a prolific writer that has moved to the level of business. My book, I didn't expect to write a book. I used to write articles that were published in the press. That was when I was in Belgium. And gradually, many people suggested that my life is a kind of testimony of a human regime, and it's worth being reflected somewhere and somehow. And gradually, I decided to do it. That was years after I escaped from the communist hell.
Yeah.
I was already in the United States, and even communism in Europe failed more than 20 years at that time. This is valid today. There are more and more stories glorifying the communist past. A lot of people saying, yes, it was much better at that time. There was no crime. It was so cheap. Of course, they've been omitting how low the remuneration of people were who've been working for $1 or $2 a day, not an hour. And they've been omitting that. And in the present realm of Russian disinformation and propaganda, plus the Chinese sites, North Korea, and other enemy nations, gradually the image of free society becomes distorted. Negative sides only are reinforced, and ultimately people are confused. I believe that my testimony will put an order in the way of thinking and provide a possibility to compare, because freedom as such cannot be always felt by people who are born in free society. They don't know what the price of freedom or how it is without freedom. And I provide the possibility through my eyes, moving through three different societies and 2 continents, to see what's the life without freedom, what's the cost to escape from slavery, because modern day slavery exists, and ultimately maybe to appreciate what someone have in a free society, and above all, that the best place of all around the world is still the United States. It's still the country of unlimited possibility. It's not easy to achieve what you want, but the society and the system is not going to stop you to achieve what you wish. While in a society without freedom, you will be stopped. They're going to see who you are, your social origins, where your parents are coming from, and what your merits are for the protection of the society, which under my watch was communist. So that's how I began my story. I've been born in still free society at the end of the war. Yes, it was bombing. My father was a military officer. I'm 3 generations officers. I'm the one who broke the link because when I've been approached at the age of 19 to go to reserve officer school, I talked to my father and for his advice, and he told me, officers of today are not like the officers of my time. You may have to be forced to become member of the Communist Party, and once you become member of the Communist Party, you don't belong to yourself. You belong to the party.
Yeah.
And if the party asks you to spy on your family, to kill somebody, to spy on your colleagues, on your neighbors, you cannot say no, or you're going to die. I knew about those choices, and when my time came, I decided that I'll go as an ordinary conscript. I paid a price for that, which I describe in my book, but those are the details.
You know, Michael, thank you very much for that. And listen, my follow-up now that I want to go into, I understand that when writing a memoir, it forces you to look back. It forces you to relive some painful or even triumphant moments in your life. I'm curious to know which part of your story was the hardest for you to put on paper and why.
I believe the hardest was what was really the hardest part of my life, which was my military service, especially the first year of 2, when I was a young soldier. This is when I experienced the depth of humiliation, deprivation of basic human dignity, total feeling of slavery, because you cannot discuss the orders, you have to obey everything, and those who are superior to you had the free hands to basically do whatever they want in order to crush your character, to reduce your personality to a silent slave. Yes, I can say that. And when I went through that, I decided that I'm going to resist. I paid very heavy price for that too. They pushed my psychological and physical endurance to the limits.
Wow.
And ultimately, by the end of the first year, because the second year I'm an old soldier, then I'm supposed to do to the young soldiers what they did to me, which I did not do also. I respected their dignity, but I'm going to back to the spirit of young soldier, because this is where the endurance is going to determine if you'll be crushed for life as a character, or you're going to survive, and maybe, in my case, we'll dream for a better world, and we'll try to achieve your dreams in spite of all the hurdles that the system puts on your way. So that was the hardest thing I lived through. When I say personal humiliation, they can beat you up, break your nose, you'll be bleeding in the ranks. In the morning, let's say, in the U.S. military, they just check the status of your uniforms, tell you what's on the order of the day, and then everybody is released to do your duty. In the Communist Army, this is a pretense to terrorize you. For the smallest thing, they'll rip off your buttons, they'll slap your face, they'll accuse you of sabotage, they charge you with several punishments. They have also a list of people who are going to be on the blacklist for more punishment than others. I've been always on those blacklists, and most of the punishment is getting up in the middle of the night and make it clean by bare hands, especially in the middle of the winter, by simple dirty racks, staircases of cement, go with bare hands to collect coal without lights, to collect what's real coal, what is not. Bring it 4 floors upstairs and light the fire in 2 stoves where 75 people sleep. And during the day there are other punishments. Then tactical exercises. The worst is, of course, in winter. You're ordered to take your gloves, if you have any, and put your hands on the cannon or whatever the material, military material we have, like APCs. That means armored vehicles for armored infantry. And without -°C, your hands just are glued on the equipment. And you're wondering, is that to test your endurance under battlefield conditions, or is it simple human desires to see suffering and to enjoy it. My conclusion was the second one. And that contributes to erase your character, to erase your desire to resist. In my case, it was the other way around. But in order to resist, you need to have some real motivation. My motivation was I had to put this uniform and go to this army to figure out that this is not a national army. Was not a Bulgarian army. This was an army which was an appendix to the Soviet army, and the Soviet army, its objective was basically to take over Europe and possibly the rest of the world and impose the same system we've been living in. So I could not bring down the system, but I knew one thing. If war had to break in, I was not going to fight for communism. I was going to try to escape, how difficult it would be, and I was going to shoot anybody who would get on my way. And if I could surrender to the West, I would have done it. And that was in my mind. Because when that you are a first-line soldier and you're sent there to die because you're considered as unreliable, the children of the communists don't serve in those kind of units. I've been in an operational unit attached to the Warsaw Pact, designated just for invasions. So I knew they were going to send me to die among the first line of combat, and knowing that I'm going to die, I decided that I'm going to decide what's going to be the price of my death. And that's how I designed my possible future if we reach to that point. If we don't, my objective was to survive physically. I believe my book gives a pretty reliable picture of what I like to project. And of course, through my real life, this is not fiction, and everybody can judge through my eyes. And let's say you're going to do in my place, considering what and according to your judgment. I believe this is a great tool that has no age limit and is going to be useful for society today.
Listen, Michael, it's your hope, but I don't deny it one bit, man. I think your book is incredible, and it offers so much insight to a world where not many have been privy to, but wisdom that's going to help them conquer the world in front of them today. I love what you've discussed. People, one last time, remember the book is called Sofia-Brussels-Washington. From serfdom to freedom to self-accomplishment, finding the American dream. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's a lot of other places. But most importantly, Sofia-Brussels-Washington.com. It's a one-stop shop, man. Head on over there, pick up copies of this amazing book, educate yourself, and make sure that you're prepared. Let's not take for granted the freedoms that we have presented to us, because this book is going to show you why. We need to be more appreciative of what we possess. Michael, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you, Benji. It was a privilege to express myself